All right. Live on all of them. Okay.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Frontstretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Frontstretch fans can use promo code FRONTSTRETCH to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay, stay rewarded.
From the agave fields of Jalisco, Billy's Tequila. Perfect in a margarita or straight over ice. Celebrate the race of life with Billy's. Use code RACER for 5% off at billystequila.com. Please enjoy responsibly.
Sits alone on the front row, trying to get the gears to grind. He says Dale's the one I love the most, Butterbean's not far behind. Even though I did not win, showed them all where I should have been. If money wasn't everything, new to O'Reilly here, I miss shifting it to third gear. Then I pray to God it didn't all just wreck behind and just let me cry. As he feels bad for those teams, let me heal and not become a meme. Let me soak as he lived out his dream. And if a ride opens tomorrow, let me race. Oh, let me race.
Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Frontstretch Happy Hour program presented by Billy's Tequila. You can save 5% when you use the code RACER. Once again, RACER. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Timothy Dale Nolan, alongside my compadres every single Tuesday. I'll start with the man that had some beautiful singing voices, or had a beautiful singing voice, I should say. He was at the track this past weekend. Mr. Michael Massey, how are you, man? Oh, Massey, you're muted, buddy.
Massey, you're muted.
Oh.
Hey.
You know what, Massey? I'm going to go to Dalton first because
Dalton's I was prepared.
I'm unmuted now.
Okay, Dalton, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I unmuted my mic and everything, so that's how excited I am to talk. Good weekend overall. I'm doing fantastic. Gonna go visit some family for the Easter weekend, so looking forward to that. And have a nice off weekend for the Cup Series. But I think for the topics today, we've got some really solid topics to talk about because there's some hot debates going on in the racing world that we got to get to.
Before we get there, I'm going to bring in the guy that just unmuted himself, and he was at the track this past weekend. Mr. Massey, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'll be at the track this coming weekend, too. And I had to do some hootie in the blowfish because there was some big news last week with Darius Rucker joining Legacy Motor Club. So there's your reference there. And, of course, Lee Pulliam. Would love to see him get another opportunity. It was really cool to follow that story this past weekend. But yeah, it was me and Trey Lyle did some great stuff over the weekend. Our guest was there too, but he refused to come see us for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah.
Well, I'm going to bring in. We don't encourage being on a podcast and driving, but this guy's a busy man. And he's got kids. He's got a pretty well famous talk show every single Monday through Friday. Host of the Fast Lane on the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Ed Lane joined the program. Ed, I did tell you that you would come on the show if Ty Gibbs won. He did not win, but we still decided to have you on. So how are you?
I want to congratulate Michael Massey on another award-winning cover performance. He continues to hit home runs with his musical talent. And you can now crop that tweet and just insert it into Magic Johnson's timeline, and we can all go home happy.
Thank you, Magic Johnson Twitter. That's still one of your best audio blips right there. I'll tell you that much. Let's dive in, though, into our first topic. Ed, let's talk about your boy Ty Gibbs. 5 straight top 5s. He is on a roll. I mean, we could call him Butter because he's on a roll, but we'll just call him Ty Gibbs. What can you make out of his performance, and is the time sooner rather than later when we see that number 54 car get into victory lane?
So this time I can actually say I believe the time is sooner than later for Ty Gibbs getting to victory lane because there's consistency behind his efforts. It's not like it's one trip into the top 3 or the top 5, followed by runs closer into the teens or 20s. There's consistent performance. You know that the speed is there. And I was very impressed with how he ran at Martinsville. He never had the car to beat, but he never did anything that was out of stupid desperation that could have jeopardized a good run. And ultimately, he put himself in a spot where he was able to accrue another good finish. And now he's starting to stack those where when he wants to go for a win, there's margin if it doesn't go his way.
Yeah, let's correct things real quick. Five straight top 6s, not 5 straight top 5.
My bad. Top 6.
I know we're gonna have a listener out there that's just screaming that will ruin their entire week.
One of the handful of people that's watching this live right now is shaking their monitor at the moment.
And that person is Adam Cheek. Shout out Adam Cheek.
That person is Michael Finley. Master, do you have something to say?
I could go. Yeah, Ty Gibbs has been really good. And when did he start being really good? After some reports came out, as part of a lawsuit came out that said that he wasn't, being held to the same accountability and wasn't showing up to meetings and stuff. And it kind of feels like he's taking things more seriously since then. I noticed he said in his post-race interview, it might have been last week, there was something about how he's like sleeping better and something about his fitness routine was better now. And I just think every little thing helps. But when every little bit of work you put into it, you don't always see the results. But I think here you are, and it does make you wonder though. He's running better than the other two Joe Gibbs Racing cars now. It seems like. I mean, Denny Hamlin is clearly number one. And as our headline for this week's show suggests, Ty Gibbs could be that new number 2 at that team because it feels like he's closer to winning a race right now than Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe, Dalton.
I think it's really funny that you bring that up because take a look at the off seasons for all the Gibbs drivers. You have Denny Hamlin, the off season from hell. You have Ty Gibbs, who probably, also had a pretty eventful offseason considering the whole Chris Gayhart situation. And then you have Briscoe and Christopher Bell, who really, remind me, was there anything that came up with those guys? I don't think anything really happened with those guys. So, unless I'm wrong, someone have to remind me, but I don't remember anything really happening with those guys. So I think it's really funny that the two drivers that probably had the most eventful off seasons have really started 2026 with a bang. And you can kind of tell with Ty, I just want to say, you can kind of tell with Ty, something's different. I've always thought Ty Gibbs was, I feel like he was always misunderstood. I feel like he was always a guy that really behind closed doors, behind the scenes, he's probably a really great guy to talk to. He's probably a really funny kid. It's just that, he hasn't really come across that way. He's just not all that great with media, but something's definitely different this year. He seems happier. And I mean that before the top fives began. At Daytona, he came out and we have this video on frontstretch.com. It's from Speed Weeks. It was during the Daytona 500 Media Day. It was 11 minutes long, but he just had an honest to God conversation with myself and Claire B. Lang, mostly Claire B. Lang, but with all of us at media. And he just seemed like a regular guy, just a fun guy to talk to. And it was almost like a breath of fresh air to see him be that way. And he's also been a little bit more outgoing when it comes to saying what he thinks. And I think that's also refreshing too. Whether it be, even if it is, Trey Lyle shoving his mic in Ty Gibbs's face. Because that happened. Don't worry. So for those of you who watched that video on our YouTube page, Trey actually did apologize afterward, and Ty said it was okay, it was cool. So
even called him bro.
He did call. Well, according to Trey, we don't have that. We don't have that actual. So that's Trey's reporting.
Trey had an epic weekend.
I know he almost got run over by Zane Smith.
He did, and you can find that as well. If you go back on the HBO Max, you go back on the in-car camera and check on Zane Smith when he pulled in the garage, you can see this short reporter, not short, but
damn.
Hey, I'm 5'5".
Little man.
I'm just 5'5". Okay, I'm shorter than he is.
In our group chat.
But he's this reporter with red. I think he was wearing like a red sweater or something with a white cap, a red pullover, and he's frolicking across the Cup garage, if you will. And then Zane Smith, his favorite driver, almost runs him over before Jeff Gluck saves his life. So shout out to Jeff Gluck. Thank you for saving his life.
Shout out Jeff Gluck.
So go check that out if you want to, because it's pretty funny actually. I digress though. Ty Gibbs.
Funny thing about I was gonna say another funny thing Ty Gibbs did over this weekend was we noticed the lights started flickering in the media center, and we look up. It's Ty for his bullpen session. He's standing against the light, and he's just over there messing with it. I'm like, that's a 23-year-old kid right there. Yeah. I appreciate that. So, yeah, Ty, he just seems like he's loosening up. And
that's the thing, Massey. I'm glad you said that because, what were you guys doing when you were 19 and 20? I certainly I would not want to be having to be interviewed when I lost a race or something. That's for damn sure when I was that. And so, he's just getting more mature. He's just growing up a little bit. And I do think that we're seeing him more mature and he's more opening up and everything. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot of shit in his life. The guy won at the time Xfinity title, and the next day his dad dies. Holy crap. Mm-hmm. That is a lot to deal with when he was 20 or 21 years old. 19 years old, something like that. I mean, the guy's been through a lot of stuff. So I think he's just figuring out who he is as a person. And I do think, like Ed said, that the time is sooner rather than later. And one of our comments, Noah Coleman, says that Bristol is his best shot. He does run really well there. I do remember him leading quite a bit of laps at Bristol. I don't know if it was the spring or the fall one, but I do know that he led quite a bit of laps in one of the Bristol races. So I mean, gentlemen, and not this week, but I could see him win at Bristol.
201.
201. Okay. Thank you, buddy.
Ed, what do you think?
I would be shocked if Bristol's on the horizon. Knowing my luck, it'll be Texas, and I'll have to just sit there and grit my teeth that that's where he gets his first victory. An element of poetic karma, of course. But I would say, I think those are all possibilities. I think the majority of the tracks on the schedule now line up. Now, Talladega is the wild card, but I look at pretty much everywhere else, and he's shown he can put consistent top 5, top 10 results together.
We had an appearance by one of your.
We did. James, can you come here and say hello?
Hi.
Hey, James. Do you think Ty Gibbs is going to win in Bristol?
Is Ty Gibbs going to win at Bristol?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
Shot.
There it is.
You will now, if he wins at Bristol, that kid is magic. Like, you have to go to him for any sports betting odds from now on. So.
I will. I'll have to ask him which one I should pick, and just when he picks it, and then if there's a win, the money goes into his 529 college savings plan. No penalty for losing, of course.
Fair. But I mean, I could see him win. I mean, Kansas, Texas, honestly, any of the short tracks, Dalton. But I do think it's sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, look at the last that's 5 straight top 6s, right? So I mean, look at the last 5 races. You have a pretty diverse group of racetracks. I mean, you have a short track. You have Darlington, which is, I don't even know, what the hell do you call that? Las Vegas, which is an intermediate. Phoenix, which is kind of like a short track. And then you have a road course in Coda. So this is a diverse group of tracks that he has been successful at. So, yes, Bristol, I agree. Like, yeah, there's a chance he could win there, especially if the tire fall off is as crazy as it was last fall or in 2024 in the spring, because he was really good at both of those tracks. He led the most laps, I think, at both of those races. So there's definitely a chance there. But then, yes, there's a chance at Kansas. Yes, there's a chance at Talladega. My confidence has never been higher for Ty Gibbs to win a race, and I don't think anybody here would disagree with the idea that he's going to be a winner by the end of this season.
Let's dive on into our second topic of the evening, once again presented by Billy's Tequila. Save 5% when you use the code RACER. Mr. Michael Massey, thank you. Good segue, good plug right there. What is the second topic of the evening?
So the second topic, the NASCAR Hall of Fame nominees were announced right before Sunday's race, and we've got a good list of them, but I think it's pretty obvious like who's going to make it, at least from the modern era this year. But I want to talk to you guys about the nominees themselves, because I'll go on a rant later. But what do you guys think about these people that have been selected for it, and the Pioneer as well? There's a little bit of brushback in some areas, and then it's been a whole topic leading up to this as well, which is weird timing, but about just like the lower level series, those guys, whether they should be in or not. So, Ed, if you're in a good spot to talk right now, let's get your thoughts first on what do you think about the nominees? I mean, I think Harvick and Biffle will be the ones selected of the group, but just any thoughts you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Harvick is the shoe-in of shoe-ins. I think Greg Biffle is deserving anyway, having won both the lower level series. And I know there's a lot of criticism about that series and whether it should come in, particularly the comments made on the Dale Jr. download. But I don't think you can tell the full NASCAR story without including that series. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to include drivers that succeeded at that level, especially over a consistent period of time. The sentimental element will factor in, but I think Biffle's more than deserving on that in spite of it. The other ones that jump out as you're playing that game is Randy LaJoie, because he won 2 Busch Series at the time, or Jack Sprague. I think they're worthy of it. I don't know if they would quite get in over either Neil Bonnet or Jeff Burton just because of their rate, but those are the ones that I would say jump out to me. And LaJoie and Sprague, I kind of wonder if they're the type that they did enough in those series they'd get in, but it may not be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think when I saw, I was watching live when they announced that Mike Helton said on air that Kevin Harvick was nominated into the Hall of Fame, and I remember just immediately saying, like, I was with Claire at the time, so my fiance, I immediately told her, like, Kevin Harvick, he's a shoo-in. Like, he's gonna get in first ballot. There's no doubt about it. Considering all the things that he's done, O'Reilly Series champion, which apparently I guess doesn't matter according to some people, and of course a Cup Series champion. Yeah. Well, and of course a Cup Series champion as well, which I guess is the only thing that matters when it comes to the Hall of Fame to some people. Maybe we can get into that in a second, but I agree with Ed. I think Greg Biffle was probably a very close second. And I remember this is not really done by statistics. I mean, it kind of is, but this is voted on a committee as to who gets in. And I can't help but feel like there's definitely going to be an emotional factor when it comes to Greg Biffle. But to be honest, like when you look at his statistics, he's kind of the most deserving, like out of the other guys. I mean, no, he didn't win a Cup championship, but he did win a Truck Series championship and an O'Reilly championship, which again doesn't matter. But he's also got multiple Cup Series wins, and he also did a ton of stuff off the racetrack too after he retired. So, and he brought a lot of eyes into NASCAR. So that's a big deal, and I feel like people don't talk about that enough. People don't talk about what drivers do off the racetrack. Then they just talk about what they do on the racetrack. It's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Champions. So that's what really matters. Is Greg Biffle's a famous guy. I mean, he won what was the Medal of Freedom. He was awarded the Medal of Freedom by the president. Like, what other driver has that? I don't think there's any of them. So he's definitely a deserving guy to be in the Hall of Fame this year. I have a feeling, but yeah, Brian, I want to hear what you think, but we should definitely get into this other debate.
I mean, this is may ruffle some feathers, but like I get it. Greg Biffle, he had a great career, but you know who he kind of reminds me of, though? He kind of reminds me of a guy like Phillip Rivers or Matt Ryan. Like he had a solid career. People know him, but like he's not like one of the greatest of all times. And if we're gonna put the Hall of Fame, are we really gonna include someone that, I mean, did he win a Cup title? No.
As a matter of fact, Kevin Harvick's the only person on this list that won a Cup title,
which I think is a reason why he's going to be in first ballot. I mean,
but you got to have a second guy.
Yeah.
So pick the second guy.
Listen, what I think is going to happen is going to be different. I do think he's going to get in. Now, should he get in? I don't know. But I do think with everything that's happened and all of the humanitarian efforts, I do think that's going to be a big thing. But it's also like, are you going to separate the on-track activity from the off-track activity? And like, there's been people that have not gotten into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first try because of their off-the-field antics. So I don't know, Massey. Final thing on this: when it's all said and done, do you think he gets in?
I think so. I think Harvick and Biffle are going to be the two. Okay. I don't know who the pioneer will be. But no, my problem, I'm fine with both those guys being in. My problem is with, look, when it gets to the voting, I think the voters for the Hall of Fame do a good job. I think the nominating committee does a horrible job because there's situations like Bob Wellborn, who was on the ballot last year. This year, he's not. He's a 3-time convertible champion and those guys were told at the time that it would count the same as Cup wins. So he's a 3-time Cup champion. Imagine not putting Tony Stewart or David Pearson in the Hall of Fame, also 3-time Cup champions, or Joey Logano. So that I have an issue with there's I think that there's also Sam Hart. He's not in either. There's Jack Ingram's in, and he, why is Randy LaJoy on the ballot before Sam Hart? Not saying Randy doesn't deserve it, but Sam should be in first. But I think that a lot of the problems would be fixed if they fixed the categories themselves. I would like to see it be, because here's the thing, like you got, these mechanics and stuff like Ray Elder. Well, Ray Elder was a driver, Winston West champion. And then you've got like Ernie Elliott, who was the reason Bill Elliott was so fast back in the day. Do they stand a chance against Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle? No, they do not, because the driver's always going to get the edge. I would love to see like 4 different categories, be like a NASCAR national driver, a mechanic, crew chief, crew guy, a regional local guy, and then a pioneer. That would fix everything, every debate, all these problems. I think that's the direction that NASCAR ought to go, but it is a good idea, so it won't be used.
So can I throw one other thought into this?
Go ahead.
About the Biffle commentary. In some sports, what you do away from the playing field or surface probably doesn't and maybe even shouldn't matter. Should that be more emphasized in NASCAR, given that it's a heavily sponsor-driven sport, and by being a good ambassador for the sport, including humanitarian work, it does cast a light on one of the most important elements to a NASCAR team's operation, which is the funding.
Yeah.
Oh, Dalton, go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just going to say, there's so many ways to decide who gets in and who doesn't and who should get in, who shouldn't. And there's always going to be debate no matter what. Like, you're not going to satisfy everyone, I don't think. I think regardless of what you say, like, most people are probably going to agree with the idea of Kevin Harvick getting in just because of, what he has done. But everything else after that gets a little murky. Yeah, like, I think that there is an idea of, there is a small list of people that aren't even nominated. I would even argue, I'll add to that what you said, Matthew, of Bill Rexford. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only Cup champion, non-active, well, definitely not active, but the only non-active Cup champion, Cup Series champion. He's the only one that's not in. He's not even nominated. I don't understand that at all. So, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to talk about. I think there's just too many guys to nominate, and the fact that we've consolidated it down to 3 people every year, I feel like that's kind of cut out a lot of people that really should be. I mean, let's be honest. Jeff Burton would be in by now. I think Greg Biffle would even be in by now. There's just some guys, and Jack Sprague would be in by now for sure. I think Randy LaJoy would even be in by now. But here we are debating about it, of whether or not they're deserving to be in. Of course they are. They're NASCAR champions. If you are a champion, especially in one of the top 3 national series, you have a shot. And especially if you're a multi-time champion of any of the top 3 national series, you should absolutely be in. So, I don't know. I kind of want to have this debate. I know we got to move on, but I want to have this debate about what people have been talking about when it comes to Cup Series drivers only being in and Cup Series champions and winners only being in the Hall of Fame, because that is an absolutely ludicrous argument. That makes no sense to me. I'll let you guys talk a little bit more about that if you want.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not the same. It's not AAA baseball. Like, you have people, especially in like the local level, where they make whole careers out of it, and it's not even. Lee Pulliam is a great example. Like, he's a 4-time national champion in late models, but he never got an opportunity. So because he didn't have enough opportunity, like him, you're saying he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame? That's crazy to me. And I get that, like, okay, I know Denny was arguing that Eric Jones could stay in the Truck Series and win 5 championships and be a Hall of Famer, but he didn't. Like, you could always take a step back and win. Like, what's wrong with that? We saw like Bobby Hamilton do that, and I think it really kind of cemented his career. Johnny Sauter like stepped back and won a truck title, and it kind of left their spot in NASCAR history. And whereas, all these guys are good. It doesn't just because like a lot of it's situational, and I think that it shouldn't be about who had the money or the opportunity. It should be about who did the best with said opportunity.
So in other sports, if you don't make it past AAA in baseball, as an example, it's probably because of the lack of skill. Like in most sports, or if you don't make it past high-level Division I basketball or past the G League in the NBA, same thing. In NASCAR, if you don't make it past the, O'Reilly, Xfinity, Busch Series, AAA for NASCAR, it may not have anything to do with your talent or lack thereof. It may just be the sponsorship opportunities. So comparing it to other sports is not the same, because in other sports, if you don't make it to the top, it's probably skill-based. In NASCAR, you might really be skilled, but the sponsorship opportunity just never materialized. So should your career be diminished because of that?
I mean, also, if you are good, I do feel like someone will take a chance on you. The Stick says, I don't think Randy should be in. Go back and look at the fields you raced against in those championship years, and then how far off he was in points after when Junior and Kenseth came in. Massey, I think you're better at tackling this. You know more of the 90s era than I do. Your thoughts on the Stiggs comment?
I mean, there's some truth to, like, the knock on Randy is that, like, he was in the 22 car before Ward Burton, and he didn't really do much with it. And then Ward Burton won races. So I don't know. It is hard to compare eras. It was a weaker time, but I think you have to get past a certain amount of people before you get to Randy. Like I mentioned, like Sam Ard, like those fields were stacked back when it was Sam Ard, Jack Ingram. I mean, like Brett Bodine was really good in the series at that time, and then you had like Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Bodine and like all these guys that would come run those races that he went head to head with, and the fact that Sam Ard had a career-ending injury, missed the final races of the season, and still won the championship, like tells you how much he kicked those people's butts. It'd be like Alex Palou if he skipped the last couple races of last year, still won the title, which he could have. But yeah, so there's definitely there's just more people that belong in before that. Like Cale Yarbrough won 3 straight titles. The guys on his team at that time aren't in the Hall of Fame. Like Jeff Hammond won 2 titles with DW, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. There's just, it's so driver centric. That's why I want another category of like mechanics and those kind of guys.
I think there should be a category for media.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I'm just kidding. I was kidding.
Well,
I mean,
honestly, like the NFL.
Look, if they want to do that, that's fine. But
like the NFL does that. Like John Facenda, like Dan Patrick was talking about trying to get John Facenda, the voice of like NFL films, to be on it, and now he's trying to get Mel Kiper, the NFL draft guru from ESPN, for like 30 years into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And like, I mean, should Mike Joy potentially be in the Hall of Fame when he hangs it up?
Yes, because Ken Squire's in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Squire really set the tone. He set the precedent for media personalities, and I do in Barney Hall also. Like I do agree. Like Mike Joy is probably one of the most prominent voices in media, NASCAR media history. I feel like you can't help it. You got to put him in at some point. I just want to say, like, continuing this debate. Let me ask you guys, and I want all 3 of you to answer this. Should Justin Allgaier be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh God, well, we're doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Can we wait till the career is done and then?
No, right now, right. The man he's 6th on all-time wins in the O'Reilly Series history, and he's a champion. Does he make the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he will, because it's a popularity contest, and he's done so driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
What? But he's the most popular. He's the most popular driver in the O'Reilly series. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's not about just the on-track stuff; it's off-track stuff too. But Brian, Ed, I want to hear your answers too.
The thing is, though, the guy had 87 starts in the Cup Series and had 2 top 10s.
Yeah.
But he was driving in a car prepared by the 4 of us, basically.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, what kind of equipment, though?
Yeah.
None of it good.
Well, he's in the 48 car now, but...
Well, yeah, but...
Still, not all of it good.
Well, in his first start for Junior Motorsports, a brand new Cup Series team, he earned a top 10. Just saying. Ed, what do you think?
I lean yes because of just how much he's done for the Xfinity, O'Reilly, whatever we're going to call it, series. And he's been one of the few stabilizing presences in that series and has been a good barometer. If you're able to finish ahead of him consistently, you're probably Cup ready. And if you're not, you're not. And I do think there's value that he's brought to NASCAR as a good benchmark of where they are. And it's hard to quantify that, but he's backed it up with victories. He's been a dominant enough driver in that series. I would imagine by the time we get to the end of this decade and at the end of his run, he may have been a driver as synonymous with that series as anybody.
Yeah, I go ahead, Massey.
I was just going to say real quick, if I do think if he's already a Hall of Famer, then Corey Heim is also already a Hall of Famer. Because he's won a championship in trucks and getting way up there on the all-time wins list in trucks.
Is he?
I mean,
how far along is he?
He's got 24 wins.
Allgaier has 31 wins, a title, and 173 top 5s.
Okay, so yeah, all right, but I see your argument. But the thing is that Corey Heim was only in the truck series for a very small amount of time, whereas Allgaier has been he's been in there for a very long time. And he's also made a pretty large impact in the series, and also it's the O'Reilly series. I mean, there's going to be a little bit more talent in the O'Reilly series than the truck series. I don't think people would really disagree with that.
Heim is 5th all time in truck wins.
Heim is 5th in all time. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty damn good, bro.
That is pretty good. I was just gonna say, like, I just recall being at Darlington not this past weekend, but the weekend before with Trenton, and we were talking about it, and we're talking about before the O'Reilly race, and we were talking about who's gonna win, everything. We're making our race picks, and he picked, I want to say he picked Christopher Bell, and I picked Kyle Larson. And then I thought, if there's anybody in this field, there's only one guy in this field that can beat all the other Cup guys, and that's Justin Allgaier. And who won? Justin Allgaier. My point being is that Justin Allgaier has been in that series for such a long time, and he consistently has beaten Cup guys to the point where he's got so many wins. He's got a championship. But all this snowballs into my final point about this, which was the whole argument that people are making about this debate of whether the Cup guys should only be in the Hall of Fame versus O'Reilly versus truck. Their argument is, the Cup guys are better than the O'Reilly drivers, better than the Truck Series drivers. That's absolute bull crap. Are you telling me that Cody Ware is better than Justin Allgaier? No, dude. Like, no. God, no. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he's even got more. Well, no, he has the same amount of top 10s as Cody Ware. Same amount of top 10s as Cody Ware. Actually, no, more. One more than Cody Ware. That's right. You said, he's got 2. But regardless, I digress. Like, the amount. It's like what Ed was saying earlier. Talent is not. It's not like other sports. Just because you're in the Cup Series doesn't mean you're more talented than a guy in the O'Reilly Series or the Truck Series. It just means that you have more money, and that's it.
With that being said, let's move on to our next topic of the evening. Mr. Dalton Hopkins, do you want to lead us off, or do you want Mr. Michael Massey to lead us off, partner?
I've talked enough, Massey.
Okay, Mr. Michael Massey, what is our next topic of this evening's program?
Oh, well, we yellow flag.
Yeah.
Yellow flag.
Put you on the
Wave
spot
the
there.
yellow. Wave the
So wave
yellow.
the yellow. So yeah, that honestly, I'm happy. I feel validated.
Put it out, boys. Put it out.
Because
Put it out, brother. Amen.
for the past 9 years, ever since stage racing started, I'm been watching it saying, why are we wasting so many laps and just cautions in general? You go back and watch a race from the 80s or 90s, they are missing the restart when they come back from commercial because the cautions were so much shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, caution's out, 3-minute commercial break. Here's your pit stops. 3-minute commercial break. So we still got to choose. And it's like, okay, it's like every caution is a halftime. Can you imagine watching a football game and it's just every set amount of time there's another halftime? There's like 5 halftimes in the middle of a football game. You get bored with it. You change the channel to something else. So finally, people are starting to see what I feel like I've been seeing for a while. Let's have Ed, as you got a mouthful of food right now, stall a little bit so that you can chew that on up.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Fueling himself for his next marathon run.
Love it.
And what do you think about these cautions and them taking
cautions?
So TV drives the sport. That's where the money is, even more than the racetracks. So there's an element of being beholden to television. But there's got to be a way to make this a more efficient process for the fans who are consuming and watching the event than what we've gotten right now with the particular timing of the pit cycle. I grew up, I know back in my day, get off my lawn moment here, where you knew as soon as the caution flew, they would go to commercial. Because everyone knew that right after that was when pit lane would open. Mm-hmm. Like, can we not get back to a point where that is a minimum standard and expectation for television broadcasts? And then once everybody cycles off of pit road, you go right back to the commercial break. And then if you're ready to go green, you're ready to go. If not, these are highly compensated professionals at the television level who should be able to fill about whatever extra amount of time is necessary, be that a couple of minutes, be that 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So there's got to be a better way. Again, if I can come up with this sitting here shoveling food into my mouth in the middle of the Frontstretch Happy Hour podcast, can highly compensated television executives do better? Yes.
To be fair, we are a really low bar, so that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm so frustrated when we finish stage 1, okay, pit stops, okay, then we do the choose, and we start it, and it's stage 2, 8 of 30 completed. We didn't complete 8 laps already. We ran 8 caution laps. I don't know, like, it makes absolute no sense, and it grinds my gears, Massey. It really does. It kind of chaps my ass that we're just wasting laps. And I mean, I don't know if we just don't count them and we're like, okay, let's just start. Okay, right when we say green flag, it's 0 out of 30, and then if there's a caution that comes out, then we can do stage. We can do count them as stage laps. I don't know, but I mean, it sours my mood, Massey, with that. We finish a stage and then you come back and like almost like a third of the stage is already gone. Oh no! Did Michael freeze?
He might have. I think the Wendigo's got him. The Wendigo's got him. Michael, for those of you who don't know, Michael Massey lives in the mountains of Appalachia. He's consistently hounded. Ed, you know this. He's consistently hounded by the Wendigos.
Oh man, darn it! Noah Coleman says the second stage at Daytona in trucks only had like 7 green flag laps, because they didn't go green until lap 7 and ended under caution because of a crash. It's ridiculous. I agree. And something needs to change. How can we fix this?
Yeah, so I edited a great article yesterday by Amy Henderson. She does a holding a pretty wheel, column that she does not every week, but some weeks. Edited that last night. And it's about this debate. And she wrote about how maybe broadcast and like what Ed said is like TV is king. Like, sorry, they're going to make a lot of decisions, and NASCAR has to kind of follow suit because they're really the ones that make the money. But the fact that we are logging so many laps, maybe we should return back to what Massey was saying before in the 90s and in the 80s, which was like, they come back and the restart's already happened. And maybe we should get back to that because, but the way you do that is you do this. You say like Fox, NBC, CW, Prime, they have to come out and say, hey, look, you guys want less caution laps. We're going to do this, but you're going to miss a couple restarts. It's going to happen. You just don't be mad at us because you guys asked for this. Like just maybe obviously in a better worded way, but like you just do that. Okay. You just, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. If I miss a restart, it's fine. I'm not going to be upset. Like I'm listening to the radio. So I know when the restarts happen, even if I'm not looking at the TV screen. So it's okay. Like it's fine. If it means that we have less caution laps and there's more racing, that's fine. It is what it is. Uh-oh.
It happened. It happened. All right. Here's the other solution. Make them faster, and if you have to go to commercial break, do the split screen. Why in the world do people in NASCAR, or at least some fans, have this disdain for the split screen when every single car is its own commercial? We're mad because there are commercials that are being run when literally we are watching a giant commercial for a bunch of different products that are all being featured. It makes no sense.
Hashtag Peyronie's disease.
That's the thing is that like that the cold caution would be a good time to do, like the pit stops during the cautions would be a good time to do the side-by-side commercial. It's that we're getting, it's like 80% of the race, it feels like it's just side-by-side commercial. Fast forward to the year 2038 and it's going to be green flag, you watch the first lap, then in the next 398 miles are side-by-side commercial, and then they come back for the last lap and show it to you. That's the future of NASCAR. That's the way we're trending right there.
Oh, Michael. You went from like 0 to 1,000 just like that.
But that's why we like him.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got some fun takes.
Exactly. So, I mean, the Stig said, would you prefer shorter races with no stages as a compromise? Aim for 2.5-hour races instead of races intended for a few hours.
There's the solution. How about you just get rid of the beeping? Get rid of the fucking stage caution. Why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Every race is like 30 minutes shorter if you don't have these stage cautions.
Yeah.
Look at Martinsville. Martinsville was like, I actually looked this up. Okay. I looked this up. It was 54. It was 5 cautions at Martinsville this past weekend. Okay. It was 54 caution laps. Do the math. That's like 11 caution laps per caution. 11. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
A caution should be 4 or 5 laps.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, okay, I put this out yesterday. Nobody saw it because, of course, they didn't. But when it comes to Martinsville, Sunday had the most caution laps for a race for a 5 caution race in Martinsville history. The most. Okay. How many races at Martinsville? How many Cup races at Martinsville have there been? I'll tell you in a couple seconds. If this thing will load.
120.
More.
200.
More than well, okay, not that much, but 155. It was the most. And as a matter of fact, it actually had more caution laps than 18 other races with more caution flag periods in the modern era. That's not the entirety of NASCAR history. That's just the modern era. And I'm talking like races where they had like 8 or 9 caution flags and there were less caution laps than what happened on Sunday.
You know what really annoys me?
It grinds your gears.
Really grinds my gears.
Grinds your gears.
Really gets me going.
Had 8 caution laps, 46 caution, or had 8 caution flags, 46 caution laps.
There you go. But they do drivers start your engines. Okay. Then they go to commercial, right? It is not until they come back from commercial that the cars start rolling. What are we doing for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
We're just sitting there for 3 minutes. I don't need to see, or if it's so important, just start the engines, start rolling off the grid, and then go to commercial for the 3 pace laps. It's just I just feel like if you're trying to get somebody to watch, a new fan to watch, and you're like, oh, this race starts at 3 p.m. and then they're just sitting there watching people talk and cars just sit there running slowly for the first 30 minutes of that 3 p.m. start, you're going to lose people. Sorry, I'm getting more fired up today than usual.
Good. Bring it on.
Do it.
Yeah.
So what's the solution? Is it get rid of stages? Because that's never going to happen.
Look, that's always the answer, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I mean, our producer Chris Graham says this isn't a discussion of caution flags; it's a discussion of how we broadcast the races. And I mean, that's a whole different can of worms. I mean, we see how Amazon Prime does it, and it's incredible. And then we can see how Fox does it. And I mean, that's a whole different can of worms when you have an analyst making fun of someone's family or giving a relative comment about he's on fire to Denny Hamlin when we all know what happened. So, you know, Fox got their own issues. But what is the solution here? How can we find a medium, a compromise?
Well,
split screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the side-by-side idea. I understand. Again, if we miss a restart or two, that's fine. But I understand you have to have full screen commercials. You have to do it. I understand. Like TV's just gonna do it. Honestly, I'm surprised that TV's bended this much with a side-by-side, like having side-by-side during the green flag. Like I'm surprised they bended this much. And look, it's kind of like a whole thing where it's like if you give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna want some milk. Like you give the fans a little bit, and now they want all of it, right? Now they want they don't want any full screen commercials. You have to have it. I'm sorry. Like you're gonna have them a little bit, and if you're not gonna have them during the cautions, when are you gonna have them? All I'm saying is, like, I understand why the broadcasters have fit those full screen commercials in the caution flags, because there's nothing happening. But I also don't think that you should hurt the people that have paid the money to go to these races, to travel to these racetracks and sit down in these stands and watch these 4-hour, 3-hour, 3.5-hour races. You shouldn't punish them by taking away green flag laps. Like, if you got to restart, if you got to bring us back from commercial about like half a lap in, okay, fine. Like, I'm just saying, you got to be realistic. Like, when it comes to TV, you got to give TV a little bit, okay? Because they're the ones that are making the money for the sport. They're the ones that are growing the sport.
Sorry, Don.
No, that's it. I was just saying, end of rant.
Yeah.
Okay, end of rant. Massey, 30 seconds or less. Go.
Oh, if we want to get rid of the problem, you just the best way is to just abandon the American dollar and go back to a barter system. Yeah,
there's no gold behind our money.
Yeah.
Why? That was my mistake. I shouldn't have let him have 30 seconds. That was so bad. With that being said, Ed, do you want to join us for pouring one out, or should we let you go, my friend?
Oh, no, I'd be glad to pour one out.
Okay, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and then the four of us are going to pour one out coming up next here on the Happy Hour program.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Frontstretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Frontstretch fans can use promo code FRONTSTRETCH to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay rewarded.
From the agave fields of Jalisco, Billy's Tequila. Perfect in a margarita. Or straight over ice. Celebrate the race of life with Billy's. Use code RACER for 5% off at billystequila.com. Please enjoy responsibly.
We are going to be pouring one out, our final segment of the evening. Once again, presented by Billy's Tequila. You can save 5% off when you use the code RACER. I used all of my Billy's Tequila after a funeral, so unfortunately I'll be drinking my water today. But I highly recommend it. It is probably the best tequila that I have ever had. And this coming from a guy that doesn't like tequila, so that should say something. So, Mr. Dalton Hopkins, we'll start with you. What are you going to be pouring one out for?
I guess I'm going to pour it out to two people. And one of them is the car owner, the other is the driver. I'm going to pour one out for Dale Jr. and the other is Lee Pulliam, because we need more guys from the late model side of racing to get their shots in NASCAR, and it took Lee Pulliam way too long to get that opportunity. So, and we saw what happened because of that. So I'm going to be pouring out some Billy's Tequila for Lee Pulliam, who got a top 5 in his very first and only NASCAR O'Reilly Series start. I hope he gets more, and hope that paves the way for more late model guys to get their start.
I like that one. That's a good job. I approve of that. Mr. Michael Massey, what about you, buddy?
Let's pour one out for Bob Welborn, Sam Ard, Herb Nabb, Renee Charland, Jeff Hammond, and all those out there that belong and of course Smokey Unick. All those out there who belong in the Hall of Fame but have not been nominated because of it's all politics. This one's for you guys.
Mr. Ed Lane, what are you going to be pouring one out for this evening?
I'm pouring one out for Rockingham as an Easter weekend tradition. I love it. I love the fact that they've got a Friday afternoon, even if it's during the fast lane. I'd rather it be a little bit later. Or what could be, to make it better, a Saturday doubleheader. But I love the concept of it. It stands on its own, and it's close enough to Charlotte where you can get racing action in over the Easter weekend, but everyone has a reasonable time to get back and spend with their families on what's otherwise an off weekend for a lot of the operations. And it's a good way to squeeze Rockingham into its own place on the schedule, which I love. I love that it's back, while acknowledging that it doesn't seem like it has the infrastructure. Certainly the roads around there don't lend themselves very friendly to a jam-packed Cup weekend. But if it can find a home in this, I really like that, and it kind of gives the Truck and Xfinity their own individualized venue and date, which is pretty cool.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. I'm thankful for the bye week, and I'm thankful. I mean, this is a long season. You go from February to November, and for the longest time, we ran Bristol Dirt, and I know that was everyone's favorite Bristol Dirt, and thankfully they're not doing that anymore. We're just going to run the traditional Bristol next week. I'm just thankful that we get an off week, and I think the person that wants off week the most is probably Kyle Busch, because that guy's probably on the verge of a mental breakdown. Because oh my God, that guy is having. I don't want to know what he's probably thinking right now. But thankful that we get an off week, everybody can reset, and hopefully for Kyle Busch fans, you guys can maybe can put down the booze for a little bit. And but hey, if you don't, try some Billy's Tequila. You never know.
Kyle Busch is an individual right now who might single-handedly help double the revenue for Billy's Tequila at the rate things are going.
Yeah. I feel like Kyle Busch is just going to have a crash out come like middle of June. He's just going to lose his mind. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I feel like it's coming because, oh boy, it seems really, really bad.
When Kyle Busch goes MIA in mid-June, we will know that he is checked in to a My Place hotel with a case of Billy's Tequila to reset his entire perspective on racing and his relationship. People will be freaking out, but we here at Frontstretch and on the Happy Hour podcast will really know what's going on.
We appreciate it.
That, my friends, is Mr. Ed Lane. Ed, you are the best, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on. And once again, be on alert. When Ty Gibbs wins, you're going to be on the program the following Tuesday. Okay, buddy?
Deuces. I cannot wait.
I love it. Mr. Ed Lane, host of the Fast Lane, is Ed Lane on the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Big thanks to Ed and everything that he does. Dalton Hopkins, you, my friend, had a great article on Thinking. Are you doing anything this weekend?
I am not. All right.
Oh, perfect. Mr. Michael Massey, you're going to be at the racetrack, so give us a little tease on what you're going to be cooking up.
Yeah, unlike Dalton, I'm actually going to do stuff this week. I'll be at the track.
Brother, I'm doing stuff, just not when it comes to front stretch.
I will be at the track on Friday and Saturday for the triple header at Rockingham. Super excited. I've never been there before. I've driven by it when it was abandoned and stopped there and tried to get in, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, I'm excited to be there and more standalone races. That's what we want to see. So look for all that coverage on frontstretch.com and the Front Stretch YouTube page.
I'm with Dalton. I got absolutely nothing besides this. So big thanks to all of our partners. Big thanks to our producer, Chris Graham. Big thanks to you from all of everybody that is commenting and everything. We mucho appreciate it. Coming up next on the Front Stretch Podcast Network, bringing the heat with Trey Lau, and then you got Through the Gears, and then we're all going to take a little bit of a quick break. We're going to reset, regroup, and rewind a little bit. We're going to take next week off, but in 2 weeks, we're going to be back better than ever. Gentlemen, it's been fun. For Dalton Hopkins and Michael Massey, Chris Graham, producer, I am Brian Timothy Dale Nolan. Thank you so much for joining us, folks, and we'll talk with you in 2 weeks to recap Bristol.